Welcome to ZKast, everybody. I'm ZS Caraval. I'm your host for this. Today, I'm doing another thought leadership video, and I'm joined by Ish Limkakeng, the SVP and GM of Cloud Networking at Cisco. And just given his title, that you can kind of guess the topic we're going to talk about is cloud networking. Before we get started, though, I do want to give a quick shout out to eWeek. eWeek is my media partner. All ZKasts are done in conjunction with the eWeek eSpeaks program. So, Ish, this is a big week for Cisco. Cisco Live kicks off today, and it returns to an in-person format. I'm so excited about there. I'm there. You're there. You're actually presenting. I've always loved Cisco Live. It's where we get to see a lot of the new innovations in the area of networking. And it's been a fascinating kind of couple of decades for me going to Cisco Lives and networkers before that. There's all this chatter in the industry, right, about the networking becoming a commodity. It's going to kill Cisco off. But every year it seems, you come up with something new and innovative, and it keeps your customers happy and it keeps you at the forefront of networking. So before we get started, though, Ish, why don't you just say hello to everybody and tell us a little bit of what you do?
Yeah, hello. Thank you so much, Zayas. It's great to be, it's great to be here on your podcast. It's awesome to be in person with Cisco Live again. I think, I've been coming to Cisco Live and Networkers before for a very long time. I've been part of Cisco for 23 years now, and so it has been. I've probably, like you, seen a lot of the changes in the industry over time and how we've evolved. And I think I'm really excited today because my current role is I lead our cloud networking business, and it is, it's where we think about the problems that our customers have with their, kind of their application delivery, whether it's in the data center, whether it's in the public cloud and their co-location facilities, and all of the assets that we bring to bear there to bring that whole platform together for them. So I'm really excited to talk about it. Your comments around, every year, we try to bring something new to the industry. I mean, I think that's our job as our customers continue to have challenges and continue to have an evolution. The last few years, obviously, have been an amazing set of those challenges. It really it's incumbent upon us as Cisco as well as the industry to help them through those challenges. And I think, the current one is very much about, cloud networking and the distributed enterprise.
Yeah, in fact, the very first time I met your CEO, Chuck Robbins, he had said to me that Cisco's job is to help lead customers through these transitions. And
exactly,
after he took over, Cisco really has been at the forefront of these things. And over the past several years, one of the main focal points for Cisco, though, has been to become more of a cloud company. I think that's evident from your financial metrics. You just look at the growth in software and cloud. And as a company, you've rapidly been shifting all of your business to the cloud, including networking.
Yes.
At Cisco Live this year, you announced a number of new products and some innovation in the area of cloud networking. And that's, I think what you and I are going to discuss. Now, before we get started, though, and talk about the products, I know, you were the data center networking BU leader, and now you've kind of brought that together with the new charter under cloud networking. And
yes,
just what drove that change?
Yeah, it's a great question, and thank you. It really comes down to the customer problem that we're trying to solve. When our customers, when all of their assets lived within, the four walls of their data center primarily, that was one set of challenges. They controlled all the assets, they managed all the assets, but it's been a while now since that's been strictly speaking the case. And as over the last decade, as the prevalence of the public cloud and moving some of those assets into co-location facilities, that set of workloads has exploded across the internet, and so our customers are struggling with doing that at scale. And so we changed the focus of the business unit to the cloud networking challenge as opposed to just the focus on the on-prem data center, because that's where our customers needed us to go. And if you think about their challenges, it is, they have all the same traditional issues and new ones as well, but they don't necessarily have the same, control that they had in the past. So that's really the focus, the change in focus. And, it dovetails very nicely with the overall company strategy and the shift in software and recurring business models at Cisco.
Yeah, in fact, it's always been my thesis that network changes actually are driven by compute changes, right? So, when you saw people go to branch offices, that's when Cisco created the router. And we did more things in our data center. Cisco came out with, the new Nexus line and things. And so now that we're moving more and more of our workloads to the cloud, we obviously have to evolve our networks again.
Right.
Now, I know in your role, especially as an SVP, one of your tasks with talking to a lot of customers.
Yes.
I think everybody at Cisco does that. And cloud network has obviously been a big focus of conversation with them. What are some of the takeaways in your conversations with customers that you're hearing about?
Well, it's how do they deal with this complexity we're talking about? If you think about what our customers are typically responsible for, the business runs on a set of applications that is delivered across a cloud network. And just because they don't own the assets or just because they don't physically control the assets doesn't mean that they aren't responsible for security and compliance and all the traditional uptime availability metrics to run the business. And in addition to that, as you start to look at sustainability, there are new requirements increasingly coming into our customers, into our customers' environment. So like that, the challenge for them, what our customers constantly are telling us is that, look, we still need extremely high performance networking, but we also need the visibility and the access to managing this entire cloud network and all of the assets across that distributed enterprise. So I think that is really the top of mind challenge for a lot of the customers I speak to. And how do they do that? Obviously, most effectively with a common operational model that leverages the best of the cloud model as well as meets their requirements that they have, their traditional requirements as well.
Yeah, complexity is something I hear a lot about. In fact, before I was an analyst, I was actually in corporate IT, and I can tell you something: the complexity today is so much higher than it was when I was an IT pro. Part of that is just you don't own the apps, right? As you mentioned,
Yep.
You don't even own the network anymore with the rise of SD-WAN and so much broadband being used. You don't own the data center. You don't really control what apps people use.
But you're still responsible for all of it.
Yes. And if things aren't working right, guess who gets the call, right? It's a CIO. And so within that world of complexity, what do you think has changed the most for your customers?
It used to be that customers would ask us for a particular functionality or particular capabilities, and that was all well and good, and it was the right thing, the right problems at the time. But I think now the emphasis has shifted more into like, help me run my operations, help me have the visibility across all of these logical locations, so I can see, if I can see it, at least I can manage it, I can operate it. And help me with things that make my operations more consistent, more cost effective, easier to get the right people, staff, whether it's networking or security. I don't want to have to retrain them all the time on something new. It's these kinds of challenges. And I think, that's part of the pivot in our focus is to make sure that we are bringing products to market that address those needs in addition to kind of the traditional features and functionality that they would expect.
Yeah, it's funny that one of the criticisms I have, I guess, of the analyst community is sometimes we categorize things as absolutes, like everything's moving to the cloud or everything's moving to Mars, right? But in reality, things stick around for a long time. And so from your customer standpoint, it's not just public cloud they're dealing with. They still have a lot of on-prem. They still have a lot of legacy.
Right.
While people are working from home, they still have people in the office. And so this and both world that we live in is where a lot of the complexity comes from. So
right.
Now, we started off talking about how Cisco Live is a showcase for innovation, and you want to lead your customers through the transition. So given all the complexity in the world and the changes in how people work, what's the opportunity here for Cisco to drive innovation, and what do you think is needed?
Yeah, so I think what you're seeing is along the lines of what I said, a lot of our announcements at Cisco Live is around, bringing that operational simplicity and a platform strategy. So, one of the things in my business we're really excited to bring to market is Nexus Cloud. And, Nexus Cloud is going to be our cloud managed, cloud delivered platform for running all of your cloud networking assets. Today for your Nexus, ACI, Nexus dashboard, fabrics, they'll be able to be managed and seen from Nexus Cloud. And it will be the simplest way in the world to run your cloud network. And so we're really excited to bring that to market, along with, some enhancements in the Nexus switching platform, some of the 400 gig solutions that we've brought to market and we've announced. So those are the key innovations from the cloud networking group. But it's really that bringing that ease of use, simplicity, the visibility to our customers' cloud networking assets. That is the main focus for Nexus Cloud.
Yeah, when I think of traditional Nexus, it was the Nexus dashboard, anyways, was your control point for the data center. And when I looked at what you do in the Nexus Cloud, is it fair to say that it's now really the control point for your end-to-end environment, be it public, private, or hybrid?
Yes. So it will be the gateway to the management of your cloud assets. So, we're going to start with providing really great visibility, end-to-end visibility from the workload through the entire infrastructure. And then we're going to, including, some of the visibility and some of the sustainability metrics that our customers increasingly have requirements, even at the board level, for trying to understand and manage. And, we're going to start there, and we're going to continue. We're going to grow the capability in terms of configuration and management of all these different assets. And I think the important thing that I want to emphasize is that we're not doing this from the standpoint of like, hey, we're just trying to move what you do today into a cloud managed application. I mean, that in of itself has some value, but you also want to retain the things that make the cloud so valuable, the elasticity, the self-service, the capabilities there. So it's more bringing that model to the overall cloud network than it is, vice versa.
One of the things you mentioned, which I'd like you to drill down on, is some new hardware, right?
Yes.
Additions to the portfolio. And while you do lots of innovation there, your cloud and software, people love the new hardware as well. So can you talk about what was announced here at Cisco Live and in the form of new Nexuses? Absolutely.
So we have some new Nexus 9800 chassis, which are 400 gig line cards, and just as importantly, we're looking to the future because, of course, when you put the infrastructure in, you want it to have a long shelf life and the ability to do multiple generations. And so, it is 800 gig ready, and it is. You'll see, that kind of, you'll see us continue to enhance and roll out more and more of that portfolio. In particular, this is the new chassis in our modular space. We also have, fixed configurations, which we're also bringing to market.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I remember when 10 gig came out and then 100.
Seemed like a lot.
Yeah, and 800 gig. That is, we're approaching the terabit, networking per port. So that's pretty cool. That's although the one thing I'll say is no matter how much bandwidth you give your customers, they find a way to use it.
Find a way to use it.
Virtual reality today, it's no question that they'll consume it. So, but other than high performance networking, what else are you doing to address the needs of your customers as they move their data and workloads into the cloud?
Yeah. So, increasingly, some of these challenges around as I said, the visibility, which we're going to deliver with Nexus Cloud, you're going to see us bring that across that cloud network. So networking, between public cloud and colo and on-prem, and then, the visibility within your public or private cloud instance. Like we'll bring that to into the Nexus Cloud capability. So, that visibility will be the first step. And then as we go forward, we will look at the best parts of the management and configuration. And, again, take it from an operator standpoint. What are the problems that they have today? What are the problems that they have first? And what's the best way to address it? And to the extent that we can make it more about, there are two things. One, make it about the operator and solving their problems so that it makes their life easier and the cost to support all of this goes down. That's one key aspect. And then the second aspect is make it so that wherever a customer needs to, they use the best place for the workload, and it's a business decision and not, not some limitation in the technology or in the operational capability. So as much as we can take the things that are great about all of the different ways that you can deliver workloads and make that a business decision, which ultimately it should be.
And I know one of the themes that you get asked about a lot is in this area of sustainability. It's been a big theme for Cisco as a company for the past few years. Does this actually help customers with their journeys on trying to get to net zero?
Yeah, I think, if for the first time we are that visibility into the energy consumption, the carbon footprint, we're starting to incorporate the energy usage of the devices. And then, as we progress, more and more of the entire cloud network footprint. So I think absolutely that is something that we see as an opportunity here, ZKast, to deliver that. And it's one of those things where, we've done a lot of things in the past to manage environmentals, to understand the energy consumption. As you know, on the campus side, there's been a ton of work on power over Ethernet, et cetera, and efficiency and energy efficiency in the data center. But it's always been hard to visualize that and report on that and make that, if you can visualize and report on it, you can manage it more effectively. And I think this has become an increasing requirement, especially in on the cloud networking side for our customers, and sometimes it rises to board level asks for our customers. So we're early on that journey, but I think we have a real opportunity to help because the network touches so many parts of a company's operations.
Yeah, it's interesting that we talk a lot about it, the negative. Obviously, the pandemic was a terrible thing, but it did create a bit of a reset in people's minds. And while sustainability and things like that were always kind of on the periphery of IT decision makers, I tell you, everyone I talked to has got that in mind. So I'm glad that's part of this as well.
That's absolutely right. That's consistent with the customers that I speak with as well.
Yeah. Now, so no conversation with the Cisco executive would be complete without talking a little bit about the future. And so how are you trying to lead the industry into building what you call the future cloud?
Yeah. So, it starts with thinking about that distributed enterprise as, one entity. As I said, our customers need to place their workloads wherever they need to place them. And, some combination of multiple public clouds, some combination of their own workloads and facilities. We see customers all the time. I mean, you said this from your own experience. There's a lot of complexity out there and a lot of diversity in how our customers want to deliver their applications. There are very few customers that are purely one delivery model or the other at this point. So when you think about that distributed enterprise or hybrid cloud, I think that is the blueprint for how we're thinking about the problem we're solving for our customers. So you'll see us working very closely together, with our data center, with Nexus Cloud, working closely with our SD-WAN portfolio to make sure those are tightly integrated. And, when you think about the user base for most of our customers, the platform strategy that you hear us talking about across the campus, as well as the cloud networking side, getting tighter and tighter integration there. I think that is where a lot of our future innovation will come and where we can deliver a lot of value for customers across those different spaces.
Yeah, and that to me, as somebody who's watched Cisco and as a former Cisco customer and reseller, I think that's the area that you've done a lot, maybe improved the most in. I wouldn't say Cisco's always been great at integrating products in different areas, but now it does seem like if I'm running a Cisco network, it's a Cisco network, not a collection of sub-networks, right? And
right.
So
right.
I think that's a big change. So anyways, Ish, again, I'm really excited here to be at Cisco Live. I know you are as well. Do you have any final closing thoughts?
First of all, just thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be on, and it's great to connect with you again. Very excited about what we're doing with Nexus Cloud, as well as our advancements here in the Nexus portfolio. I just think we're at the very beginning of a lot of opportunity for us as a company, but more importantly, to help our customers solve this cloud networking challenge. And as the industry continues to evolve, I think we will find new problems and new challenges to solve. And I think every year at Cisco Live, as you mentioned, we will come with our best solutions to that. So thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
And thanks for joining me, and for you watching. I hope if you're at Cisco Live, I hope you enjoy yourself. And if not, then I know a lot of the sessions are on demand. But on behalf of Ish, I'm ZS Caravallo from ZK Research. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to click subscribe, and I'll see you next time on ZKast.